Hello, welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. I'm your host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley, and we got an absolutely sensational show coming your way today. And we're going to be talking about bridging gaps and changing lives. Because a lot of times, we run across, even in our own life, we have gaps and we have things that we have to fill in because we don't have the whole puzzle there. And it takes time to be able to just identify the needs in order to get a complete picture. And that happens in life as we mature, is what I like to call it. As we mature in life, we get more and more of the pieces, and we just have to be able to put those together. So that's going to be our topic today, and how by getting all these things and run across and certain people, God put people in your life for a reason. So it's always been said, He put people in your life for a reason. Sometimes it's for a season, and other times it's a life. It's a lifetime. So we're going to be talking about all of those things with our absolutely fantastic guest, Dr. Jacqueline Mohair. But before I even start with anything, I have to always bring this absolutely great executive director and co-host of the show, Dr. Michelle Denise Cooley. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Yeah, doing
It
really
is.
good. And we're really excited about the guests on the show today. And, we can all do things to inspire and educate and change people's lives. And this amazing guest, Ambassador Dr. Jacqueline Mohair, she's doing just that. I mean, there's things that we're aware that she's doing. There's more things that we don't even know that she is doing, but she is a busy woman. So we're really excited to have her on the show today.
Yeah, she is springing a business. She's doing a lot of things. She is the founder and CDO president of actually three universities. Uh, Ministry. She is a woman of God. She's doing a whole lot of great things out there. It's just an absolute pleasure having her on today and getting the opportunity to learn a lot more things about her. So we're gonna do this, and we're gonna get her on, and probably in the middle of this segment, or we just might wait to the next segment. But Michelle, why don't you tell our viewers and our listeners about the title of the show, purpose, and about this great guest that we're gonna have.
Oh, yes. Well, the title of the show you mentioned is Bridging Gaps and Changing Lives. And the purpose of the show is getting to know entrepreneur, transformational business life strategist, advocate, professor, life coach, minister, serial entrepreneur, the founder of Trinity International University of Ambassadors, and ambassador to the United Nations, Ambassador Dr. Jacqueline Mohair. We're going to talk about her diversified professional background and how she empowers people to succeed in life and business, and about the current project she's working on. So, wow, this short bio does not do her justice, but I'm going to highlight a couple of things. She's a premier life coach, helping women to turn their passion into profits and dreams into reality. An advocate for change who is passionate about empowering people to succeed in life and business, teaching mankind how to birth vision and turn their pain into purpose. Her motto is, "You were created by a creator who's giving you power to create from the well within." She's the founder of T.I.U.A and has three separate schools, including the Trinity International University of Ambassadors Corporation, Pensacola, Florida, T.I.U.A School of Business, and the Trinity International Chaplaincy Institute, formerly known as Trinity International University of Ambassadors, both of Duluth, Georgia. These three schools represent Dr. Mohair's commitment to providing quality education, training, support, and resources to its students. And she founded all these educational entities to meet the needs of its students and communities globally. She's an author who has written inspirational books on empowerment and entrepreneurship, teaching women from all walks of life how to win through faith. More than 20 years of marketing and sales experience and 15 years as an entrepreneur, helped small business owners, corporate professionals, nonprofits succeed. She has also reached the top position in 3 network marketing companies. She's fueled by passion for fulfilling God's mandate for these turbulent times. Her thrust on character building by merging spirituality with everyday living provokes people to pursue a life of integrity. Wherever she goes, Dr. Mohair exhorts and encourages her listeners to deepen their intimacy with God and arise to their divine appointment, calling, and destiny. She's been married to Dr. H.T. Mohair for 20 years, and together they have 4 children and 4 grandchildren. In the midst of it all, Dr. Mohair stands on the principle that it's not about platforms, it's about the love of Christ. And we can't wait to have this conversation with her on the show today.
Wow, she is going to join us in on the next segment, but all of the great things that she is doing out there at Dr. Hall, we had an opportunity to chat with this great young lady and education. That's a big pet peeve of hers. She wants to teach, she wants to inspire, she wants others to be able to find their purpose and do the things that God put them on earth to do. What are your thoughts, Dr. Cole?
Wow, Doc, I looked at her bio and I was so impressed. We need her and that brain trust on Africa, in the continent of Africa. So I'm just trying to figure out that how do we get an institution over there, for her to be able to open up one on that great continent of ours. So, but I'm excited to hear all her accomplishments.
Man, we're working on that one, and that's we're gonna talk about that one in another meeting, But
and if she's won many awards, James, she has been honored with a lot of awards, and I
why don't you tell our why don't you tell our viewers and viewers, she will be joining us in the next segment, So, but tell our viewers and listeners about some of the awards that Dr. Mohair has won.
She has been awarded the Obama Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award, the Obama Presidential Gold Award, Outstanding Georgia Citizen Award, Word of Life United Nations Ambassadors Award, Keys to the City of Brentwood, Maryland, Georgia State Resolution, Women of Wealth Billionaire Roundtable Award, Outstanding Georgia Business Award, Artist Executive President Award, Tahitian Noni Diamond Pearl Award, My Video Talk 4-Star Award, FOIE Expert in the Field of Marketing Award, Honorary Doctorate SICA International, Honorary Doctorate Sound Doctrine Bible College, Proclamation from the State of Georgia, City of Maryland, Lawrenceville, Georgia.
And just well decorated, and well decorated, and plus she does a whole lot more than that. She worked with the Congressional Black Caucus, United Nations. She worked with a lot of other major institutions. So, but she's running a little late right now. But we're gonna get her on as soon as she clock in, and you will be able to hear from this magnificent young lady. Doc,
with all those different hats that she wear, I can understand why she's not here right this second. But I can imagine she has a full schedule every day, and especially empowering so many different people on the different platforms. Like she said, it's not about platforms; it's about Christ. And these Christ assignments that we have are those guys given talent. We're supposed to share it with the world, man, spreading the good news. And so I'm excited that she's one of us, if you will.
She is, and Doc, I think she's going to be a great addition to Africa Link, our team. That that we're doing some things. Let's talk about that one for a few minutes. Africa Link. Can you kind of bring our listeners and viewers up a little bit about what we're doing and why it's so important? The humanity portion of that is so important that Dr. Mohair, her and her team might be part of those efforts.
Yeah, sure. I mean, Africa Link is essentially a conduit, to Africa. Most people of color, we know we're from Africa. We just don't know where. And that history was taken from us, from the transatlantic slave trade. And I think the biggest thing is to, we understand history, but now it's time to tell our story, and changing that narrative has to be done by us. We have to show Africa in the light to the world for its magnificence that it brings to the entire world. Africa has 5 regions, and they passed a treaty with the African Union to create 6 regions. And what I mean by that, we have North, South, East, and West, and Central Africa as the regions of Africa. Well, the 6th region now becomes, if you're an African descendant anywhere in the world, with the exception of being on the continent of Africa, then you're part of the 6th region. That's the African diaspora. So African Links told us just to be able to take the excuses out the way for you to be able to pay homage to your birthright and be, what you're entitled to heritage-wise. So we're bridging the gap for those that are African descendant around the world to not have an excuse not to get reconnected to our anchor. We're the only people on the planet as African descendant folks, part of the diaspora, that is not tied to their anchor. The Latinos are tied to their diaspora, the Jews are tied to their diaspora, and we have to make it that this has become a priority for us. And that's the mission of Africa Link.
Wow. So it's just so important that others really understand that, especially where they came from, can trace back, through your ancestors exactly where you came from. So I'm looking forward to discussing all of these things. We're going to take a station break, but when we come back, we're going to have a great Dr. Jacqueline Mohair. So if you want to be part of this conversation, all you have to do is go to the comments and just ask any one of us any question you like. It's your life. I'm Dr. James J.C. Cooley. We'll be back shortly after the break. Hey, I'm James Cooley, the host of E360, It's Your Life, the James Cooley Show, which I tell you, I want you to watch because we're going to...
Really get a chance to know who you are. And once you know who you are, you truly know who you are, love who you are. Love who you are. You're a masterpiece. Love who you are. Love who you were born to be. Love me some me. That's what I'm talking about. When you leave high school, you gotta know today or tomorrow, or hopefully today, what your plans are. Hopefully, there is no bad decision unless there is no plan. Create, collaborate, commit with confidence. Commit with what? Commit with what? And everything that you do.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and we talking about this great young lady that's going to be joining us shortly, and she wears a lot of hats, and one of the most busiest individuals that I know. But she's doing so many wonderful things for so many people, and it's just an absolutely it's thrill getting an opportunity, and you all are going to get an opportunity to chat with her as well. So if you want to be part of this conversation, all you do is just go to the whichever platform you're watching on, whether it's E360 TV, YouTube, LinkedIn, over 25 plus live streaming networks. So we've been waiting a while, and without any further delay, let's bring to the stage Dr. Jacqueline Mohair. How you doing? How you doing, Doc?
I'm fantastic. How are you doing today?
I am, blessed, and it's just a thrill to have you on the show. Been waiting on this opportunity a long time.
Wow. I'm glad to be here. Humbled to be here.
I want to start off by I know Michelle introduced you, but it's a lot of things. Can you tell our viewers and our listeners who is Dr. Jacqueline Mohair and some of the great things that you're doing? I mean, because you're doing so many things.
Oh my goodness. I'm just a humbled individual that wear many hats. I'm a mother of 4, and I'm a grandmother to 7. So that in itself keeps me pretty busy. But in the midst of that, we have a girls mentorship program that we work through our program or our entity, Trinity Girls Network. This is where we go into the school systems here locally in Gwinnett County and empower young ladies to become strong women. And not only that, we have taken that program and expanded out now to some girls there in Africa, which we are excited about that. We've been working with them online and looking forward to going to South Africa and Zambia, as well as Nigeria this year. So I'm super excited about that. But also through our program, we work with individuals with disabilities, students, helping them to pave the way for a brighter future. So we do that as well as our Bible school, which empower individuals to go into the marketplace and to share the good news of Jesus Christ to everyone, along with our honors program where we empower individuals to go out and do the assignment that they're called to do. And so those are just some of the things that we do. We have a food drive that we give out to the community. Just many different community efforts that we just do here in Georgia. So I'm just, Dr. Cooley, just a humble person, just trying to do the will of the Lord that He has called me to do. So I just look at it as, just doing my assignment that I'm called to do.
And you're doing absolutely wonderful job. And some of the things that you didn't mention in there is that you're the founder of 3 universities. You're empowering lots and lots of people around the world. But we're gonna get into that one later. So it somewhere down the line, probably from birth, all these things was instilled in you. And what lesson did that you use every day that your parents instilled in you that make you the person that you are today?
Well, first of all, my mother was an educator. And without a shadow of a doubt, I knew that I was going to school. So that was not a doubt in my mind. It was still inside of me as a child. But my father, he worked on the railroad, but he also had a farm. So we grew up on the farm. I grew up on the farm. And with that humble beginnings, I saw him even just through the things that we did on the farm, just sharing and helping the community. So I would say that part was already instilled in me as a child. to do that. So, and being active in school and a lover of education, all of that was already instilled on the inside of me. And so the Bible said, train up a child in the way that they should go. So I would say, even though they stray away, they'll come back to it. So now that I'm more so in my latter years, I would say I'm coming back to the love that was instilled inside of me as a child, that I saw my parents giving back, and I saw, my mother being an educator. And in education, you just didn't make much, and especially back then. But I saw her giving her last to her students, giving her last, making sure that the students were equipped to go forth into the world. So I would say that's where my beginnings start, and that's where I have ventured back to. And not only that, my father was a deacon and my mother was on the motherboard. So, I had no other choice but to go to church. So all of that was in. So I'm only doing the assignment that I was trained up to do.
Wow. Dr. Mohair, this is a two-part question.
Okay.
Part 1A, was entrepreneurship always encouraged within the family when you growing up? And part B, when did you have that aha moment when you worked all those years in corporate America and you were like, okay, it's time for me to do my own thing?
Well, great question. Let me say this. I always saw my father doing other things, right? And when he would get laid off, he would say, listen, I can't spell broke and you will never go hungry. So I saw him working a job, but I saw him doing several entrepreneur ventures, right? Being that we lived on a farm and we had other things that he could offer to the community. So that was one. I think when I really got my aha moment about entrepreneurship, I sat down and I wrote a book. And in writing that book, Creating the Entrepreneur Spirit in You, it was the first book I ever wrote about 7-8 years ago. And as I was writing that book, it took me back to when I was in the 4th grade. Now, why do I say 4th grade? Because we had this chance or this opportunity where you could become Miss Long Creek, right? The queen of the school. And I was determined to become queen of the school. And in order to do that, you had to raise money to become queen. So I said, okay, nobody's giving me money, but let me come up with something. What I did, I went actually to the kitchen, looked in the cabinets, and I saw popcorn. I took the popcorn and I popped the popcorn. And I immediately, growing on the farm, my mother, every summer, she would can goods and all this good stuff. So I found some freezer bags and I made me all type sizes. I made some small sizes, some medium sizes, and some large sizes of popcorn. And for 1 week, I was making that popcorn. And then as soon as I got on the bus, people were buying the corn, right? So little did I know that was an entrepreneur spirit on the inside that I didn't know that I had. And what that opportunity did, I started on that Sunday night popping the popcorn, but by that Friday, the school had put me out of business. They said, no more popcorn on this bus. Popcorn is everywhere. But guess what? I found out that I was an industry changer. Why do I say an industry changer? Because the school had never thought about selling popcorn. And 2 weeks after they fired me from my own entrepreneur opportunity, they started selling popcorn and got a machine. But with that said, right? But with that said, being creative, I was able to win Miss Long Creek that year because I raised the money. Okay. But I didn't know that I didn't know I was an industry changer until I wrote that book and actually went back and reflect, where did this entrepreneur spirit come from? Now, fast forward to where we are today. I lived in Texas for a number of years. I worked at the best of the best. I worked at AT&T, and I worked at I can't even think of the company now, but it went out of business. It was a based out of Jackson, Mississippi. McLeod, no, it wasn't McLeod. I can't think of the name. But anyway, it was a telecom company that went belly up, right? similar to Enron. I worked for Enron, and oh my God, let me just share this with you. I had an opportunity that was presented to me, and I said, listen, I got a good job. I'm not working no network marketing, no nothing. But guess what? I came back home after Thanksgiving and the doors were locked. The company had went belly up. So after a number of years of things happening in the telecom industry, belly up, Enron, belly up. So I found myself being pushed to the wall. Either I was going to sink or I was going to swim. So I had to find me something entrepreneur to do. So what I tell people, and I go back to Bishop Jakes, when I was living in Dallas, he said the main stream in the Garden of Eden had one main stream. And that one main stream means residual debt needs residual income. But it had 4 other streams going inside of the mainstream. So I learned quickly that I had to have multiple streams of income. And so that in itself is what pushed me into becoming an entrepreneur.
Wow. so you started out in the fourth grade with the entrepreneur spirit. You know what, Doc? We're gonna take a station break. But when we come back, we're going to delve up into a whole lot of things. So if you want to be part of this great conversation with Dr. Mohair, all you have to do is go to whatever platform you're watching this on and just put in the comments and answer any question you like. It's your life. We'll be back shortly after the break.
I never wanna leave. Yeah, I'm right where I wanna be. We got something you and me, and I can't get rid of this feeling. Just like a magnet, we're just like a magnet. The things we have can't be taken for granted. Now I know that it has always been you. I can't help it, I'm so drawn to you. Just like a magnet, we're just like a magnet. The things we have can't be taken for granted. I know that it has always been you. I can't help it, I'm so drawn to you. Hey, I'm so drawn to you. I'm so drawn to you. Yeah, yeah.
Noah Dingley here, producer of The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life. And the new audio version of James' book, Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet, is a must-have. James shares his true life story of struggle and success in America. It's both a cautionary tale and a roadmap to achieving the American dream. Get the new audio version of Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James Cooley on Amazon.com or wherever audiobooks are sold.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's Your Life, and I got my absolutely fantastic guest here, Dr. Jacqueline Mohair. And she cracked me up last time when she started her entrepreneurial business in the 4th grade. School fired her and started their own. But I tell you, but that build character, because then you, just like I mentioned in the beginning, that we all are born with purpose, and we sometimes are missing pieces of the puzzle. You know, and
Right.
as we mature, as we get older, we're able to learn things, pick up things, and be able to add to the puzzle until we have completed that, and then we see a true picture of what God's purpose is for us. And Dr.
Sure.
Mohair, you just like I said, you doing so many great things in entrepreneurship and I mean just the love for people at all levels. And we all need we need more soldiers. We need more people to think that way and understand that we need to put our wants to the side and only
Hmm.
focus on the needs and the needs of others. And so my question to you is, you doing all of these things, and when you see a lot of successes, I'm talking about from your students, your people,
Hmm.
uh, organizations. What the first thing to go through your mind? Do you sit back and say, I know that I'm making a difference, and I got to continue, and I have to come up with more ideas to make differences. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, for me, being that my mother was an educator, and when I started this journey, I started out in education. Right when I first went to Mississippi State University, my first thought was elementary education, and of course, from there it grew into the other aspects of education. But for me, it's about, well, first let me say my heart smiles when I see uh, my students, people that come through the program, that they're going forth, they're doing their assignment. It just makes my heart smiles, and it gives a sense of, okay, you are making a difference in the world because you are empowering other people to go forth and do the assignment, and they're able to touch people that I may not ever be able to touch, but just knowing that God is using me as that vessel in the earth realm to be a blessing, that right there in itself makes my heart smile. And just to continue the program, because as you know, Dr. Cooley, being an entrepreneur on this journey, it's not always easy. It's not always peaches and cream. It's not, unless you're born into a different space where things are already set out for you. But if you're trying to plow the field, now remember, I grew up on the farm. So it took a little time to tear the ground before we could be able to actually plant, right? And so on this road of entrepreneurship, and let me say this, sometimes even after you plow and you do all the work, hey, the seed still might not come up, right? And so it's in those tough moments that I would like to say that this program, we want to push other individuals to keep going forward. We're making a statement. We see you, we see the work that you're doing. Keep going forth. And as the Bible say, you will reap if you don't faint. And so sometimes on this journey, it can be a heavy road, or it can be you feel like sometimes it's not going to happen. And I have to remind myself of the Kentucky Fried Chicken, the Colonel who started the Kentucky Fried Chicken, or look at the individual who started the light bulbs, and all these other things that we see. What would have happened if they gave up in the hard times? So what we're saying with our honors program is that we see you, and we want you to go forth, keep going forward. Because again, you will reap if you don't faint. But we do understand that there are rough moments, and we want you to know that you're not by yourself. But just keep going, keep plowing, and you will reap a harvest. Even if the seed don't come up the first time, go back, do it again, plow again, plant again. Even if it don't happen then, go back, do it again, because sometimes we have to learn from the mistakes that we may have made the first, second, third, even the 10th time. But if we keep going back, we're just getting, as I say, excuse me, with these ebonics, we get gooderer and gooderer and gooderer, right? Because we're not starting from the beginning, but we're starting from experience. And so that in
Wow.
itself, and I believe I heard on one of your videos where you talk about confidence, that in itself is helping to build up that confidence on the inside of you. Because the more and more you do it, you're getting comfortable in your product, you're sharpening your skills, and at the appointed time, then the world will know about it. And then from there, I believe that's when the supernatural is going to breathe on your natural, and your program is going to explode and cause you to leave a legacy in the earth realm. So don't despise small beginnings. Keep going.
I love it. You're so motivating. Every time I hear you speak, at the graduations and all of these things, you're just so inspiring. Hey, Doc, I think you got a couple of questions for Doc.
I do. Hi, Dr. Mohair. How are you today?
I'm good. How you doing, Dr. Hall?
I'm blessed and highly favored. Thank you for asking.
Amen.
Well, I got a two-part question, and
Okay.
since you're the founder of the Trinity International University of Ambassadors, how did that come about? And maybe you could tell our listeners if we can get one over in Africa.
Okay. Yes, absolutely. Well, it has always been a dream to start a school. I didn't know how. I didn't know the routes to take. And I was actually mentored by another young gentleman, Dr. Philip Finn, when he shared the opportunity with me of how to, even get started with the school. And at that time, I had just finished a degree with internet marketing, my second degree, my master's, my second master's. My first one, master's, is in education. But then the second one, I wanted to learn, about the internet marketing space, how to really build business plans, marketing plans online, and all of that. And so when he was sharing me about how to actually get started with the Bible school, I looked at that. And from there, I was always trying to see how to intermix my space of business, because having a DBA in business administration, being able to teach people about the business and being able to market. So from there, it just expanded, into teaching about the business courses. So that was my first idea. But then I have a child that was born with a learning disability. So I wanted to find something, and I ended up homeschooling her for a period of time. So finding some things that would help her along this journey, because again, not everybody is meant to go to college. They're not. And so wanted to come up with another way to where that population could be educated as well, but not going through, the traditional means, if you would, because nowadays people can come up with an idea, and with the right proper training, they can have a business online, or they can go to trade school and learn some other means of income. So I wanted to be a solution to that process, if you will. And in speaking to other parents that was dealing with the same issue that I was. And so it just started from there. And so as we talk about Africa, listen, everybody across the globe is dealing with something, right? As it relates to education, right? And so if we can help the masses of people learn a skill set, I think that they too can be successful, even if it's not the traditional way, right? But certainly in the disabled community, we certainly need more programs.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Well, thank you for that.
Hey, Doc.
Yes.
But she didn't answer if we can get one of these open in Africa. So
we can.
Wonderful.
Okay. Your role as a premier life coach, where you empowering all of these great women to empower others and go out and live their dreams. Tell our audience about how this has changed a lot of people's lives, because I see it every day. With graduates, I see it every day, and a lot of this came initially from you. And it's just changing lives, not just in the States, but around the world. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Well, as being a premier coach, I do have a coaching program that empower women want to believe in themselves, have that self-confidence, no matter what. Don't let anything shake you, because greatness is on the inside of us, and we all have a creative well that we can create. We just need to tap in and to be able to do so. So I have a program that really speak to that, and it's a coaching program that can be found at jacquelinemohair.com. But with that, as it relates to the students, you know, being able to see individuals step out with that confidence and going forth, and watching and listening to them say that doors are opening for them that they thought would never open. Opportunities are happening for them that they never imagined could happen. It's happening. So I tell people, step out on faith. Do what God has called you to do. Your way is not my way. His ways is not our ways. And I always tell people, listen, when in the Bible there were two. They came in at the last hour. Now, after everybody had been working all day, they came in at the very last hour and they got the same dinar as everybody else. So your route may not be my route, but at the end, God still has a blessing for you. And he has a blessing and an assignment for you to push forward. So I'm just a little inkling on the wall, or the little voice that's pushing in the background saying, go Dr. Cooley, go Dr. Cooley. It's on the inside of you. Go out, sprout, and do and be all that God has called you to be. So again, with that said, and empowering people, again, my heart smiles knowing that others are reaching their full potential.
Wow. And there's so many of my classmates and others are reaching that potential. And all of that, just like you said, it's kind of like a seed. And if it don't sprout the first time, you put some water on it and work with it a little bit. And then if it doesn't, I mean, you just keep working with it. And as long as, you know, we get knocked down sometimes, but as long as we got the ability and the courage and confidence to get up and say, I will not be defeated. You know, we're going to take a station break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to talk some more. We're going to talk, because this is exciting. And if you want to be part of this conversation, all you have to do is just go to the comments, ask this great doctor any questions that you want to. I promise we'll get you an answer. Remember, it's your life, and we'll be back shortly after the break.
Fight against. And if you want my opinion, I let it take me away. Only relief is the four on the floor and the crowd that goes, oh, turn it up, turn it up, turn it up, turn it up, oh, turn it up, turn it up, turn it up.
Options, Opportunity / the Choice Program. Our primary mission is to help build a foundation of our youth and young adults and communities. And we encourage everyone to dream big, think big, and be big at everything you do. And the way that you do that is, first of all, you got to believe in yourself. You have to believe in yourself. You have to know that you are here for a purpose. You also have to be able to step out your comfort zone and do things that you probably didn't think that you can do. Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and I absolutely fantastic guest here, Dr. Jacqueline Mohair. I tell you, every time she speaks, it just it just sends vibes, and it's so encouraging and so inspiring that you know that she got the spirit of the Lord in her, and she is encouraging everybody that you can have the spirit of the Lord, and you can also accomplish anything that you set your mind to. But you have to stay in the game. You have to stick it. You're gonna fall down. You're gonna get thrown off path.
Mm-hmm.
Just as long as you stay focused, you can do it. So at the audience out there, if you want to ask this young lady any question, by all means, go ahead on and do it. Michelle, are you back? You up?
Oh, yes, well, definitely. Well, Dr. Mohair, so what advice would today's Dr. Jacqueline Mohair give to her younger version of herself, and why would you give that advice?
Wow. I would tell my younger self to slow down. Slow down and understand that some things are not going to happen overnight. Be patient. And I think that's the hardest thing for some of us to do, is to be patient and wait. But the word says, they that wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. So on some things, I would tell my younger self to slow down, be patient, find a mentor that is going in the direction that you will want to go in, and get a good mentor. Because see, I lost my mom at 19. So a lot of stuff that I went through, I had, it was trial and error. So I bumped my head a lot, but I got back up. Bumped my head, got back up. And that in itself is, you're learning. But I would not have had to bump my head as much had I had the right mentorship to walk me through the steps that I wanted to get to. So, in other words, I would have got there a lot faster with a mentor versus trying to move fast with no mentor and taking those steps back only to begin again. So, I would tell myself to just slow down and find the right mentorship.
Wow. Another question. I remember when I used to live in Atlanta myself for a couple of years, and the pastor always said this most important thing. He would preach the word to us, but he said, you know what? I'm here to kind of break down, explain the word, but you have to read it for yourself to understand it. I'm just a messenger. I'm not God. You have to read the word, understand it. The reason I brought that up is because you are a role model. You are uplifting and inspiring, educating a lot of people out there. But how important is it for women or just people to realize they have that gift in them, and not to look towards a person as, to be able to give that to them? They have to see that in themselves and empower themselves. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think when you started out, you were saying what the pastor was saying about you have to read the word. So the more that we spend that personal time in the word, and allowing the Holy Spirit to give us revelation of the word, it helps to build up the confidence on the inside of you so that you can move forward. You look to him and not to man. Look to him and not to man, because all honor, first of all, comes from the Lord. The Bible tells you that. All honor, all gifts, everything, basically, it comes from the Lord. We're just vessels that he's utilizing in the earth realm to get the gifts out to individuals. So I would say first, get in your word, spend that quality time, and remain humble. And as you remain humble, God will do the elevation. God will, and help build up your self confidence. And the more you do that, you'll find yourself doing the will of the Lord that He has called you to do. Because for me, believe it or not, I used to get so terrified to speak in front of people. As a matter of fact, 30 years ago, you couldn't get me to sit here and do something like this. I was terrified of public speaking. Real story. I had took a public speaking class, thought I knew how to speak because from where I'm from, they taught us how to speak like Martin Luther King, Dr. Martin Luther King. So the school I went to, when I started speaking, they said, "No, you yelling at us, you shouting at us." So the teacher dropped me to an all low. And I was terrified to speak in front of somebody. So I said that to say, no matter where you are in life, no matter inadequate you may feel, the more you get into that word and you keep pushing forward, you can get past all of that you're feeling, because it's only an emotion that you're feeling about yourself. God don't see you that way. He created you to be something awesome, something great, because why? You have Him on the inside of you to do the exploit. So I said, get past all of this other stuff that's blocking you and push and move forward to what God has called you to do and all that He has called you to be.
Wow, we only got a few more minutes left in the show. I got 100 questions for you, but I want to talk about some of the other things that you're doing. I know Congressional Black Caucus, you're doing a lot of things with the United Nations. You're doing a lot of things with those and your schools and all the different programs that you're doing. Can you tell our listeners and our viewers a little bit about the things that you're doing with these organizations?
Well, as you know, I have some good friends here in Atlanta. That one of my friends, Representative Dr. Billy Mitchell, he was the president of the Black Caucus, and so that was our connection there. But let me back up and just say this: as a child, if my father was living today, and today is his birthday, by the way. He was born in 1918, so that would make him about 105 or 104 if he was living today. As a child, it was instilled in me to vote. As a teenager, it was instilled in me to go out into the community, pick up the elderly and the disabled to make sure that they vote. So as an adult, it's important to me that the community get out and they vote, because your voice matters. Okay. It is at the local level that decisions are made, and those decisions are taken to the White House. But what I found out as I graduated from college and I moved from Mississippi to these other areas, especially when I moved to Texas, it took me a minute to find out, where do I go and vote? So that period of my life, I only voted for the president, because I didn't know the who and the what and what was going on in my community, right? So it's important that we find out what is going on in your community so that you can have a voice and that you can have a stance, right? To be able to make a difference. So when I look at the Black Caucus and the connection that I have with the representatives, that is the cause. Making sure that the community is educated, making sure that the community are aware of their surroundings so that we can make a difference when it comes to the decisions being made at the White House. So that's how I got started there. Secondly, when we talk about the United Nations, I mentioned the pastor, Dr. Finn, who introduced me about the school, and he introduced me to the United Nations. Now I'm thinking, why am I here? But now I understand it is to make impact, not just locally, but to make impact globally. Right. And through the United Nations, now that we have our ECOSOC accreditations, we're able to dispatch individuals now to Geneva, to Vienna, to New York, to be able to attend those meetings and have a voice, not just locally, but globally. Right. And so that is the mission there. Our main mission is to impact the lives of women and girls, because we know that if you can change and impact the life of women and girls, you can impact generations. And so one of the things that we're doing through the online platform with the girls we have here, and now that we have in Zambia, now that we have in South Africa, that we have in Nigeria, is bringing the community together, if you will, because each girl now are able to establish that relationship in other countries. And pretty soon we'll be taking some of the girls here, there, and vice versa, so that they can experience other cultures and bring the community closer so that they and their generation can make impact going forward. Okay.
Wow.
That's how I
We're out of time. We're out of time right there. But but Dr. Mohair, I would love to have you back on the show again. It's a lot of stuff that we did not cover. And so if your schedule permits, you just let me know, and we'll get you back on. But I want to thank you so much for taking time to come on the show. I like to thank Dr. Cooley for always putting together great shows, bringing great guests on. Dr. Hall, thank you as well. Most importantly, I'd like to thank our audience for tuning into the James Cooley Show daily. And I'll tell you what, always dream big, think big, and be big. We'll see you the same time Monday. It's your life. I'm Dr. James J.C.